Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Max and Trev with BuzzTox. What's up, Trev?
What's going on, man?
In this video, we're talking our broad Game of Thrones predictions. So, there's not much information about this season so far. So pretty much it's fan fiction, but we're going to be giving our broad thoughts on what we think is going to happen with this season. And we're going to be talking about the main story arc, which is pretty much Cersei being queen, Daenerys trying to take over Westeros, and there are going to be some characters that we don't get to. But don't be alarmed. We're going to be making specific character videos in the upcoming weeks. So you can look forward to that. So we start south in Dorne with Daenerys. I find that Daenerys is going to be the main character that drives the majority of the action in the story. Since Jon finished, he's now in Winterfell. There's nobody contesting him. So we're going to be really focusing on Daenerys. So she's in Sunspear in Dorne. And I feel like Daenerys is really going to have a Robb Stark kind of feel, like he was in Season 2 and Season 3. She's just going to be conquering. We've seen her make allies with Ellaria Sand and Lady Olenna. And what I think she will do is she's planning to break the wheel. So I think what she's going to be doing is she's planning to take out every part of the wheel, which is all the major houses, and just leave a spinning axle, which is King's Landing. She wants to take everything away from King's Landing. Therefore, she will break the wheel. What do you think about that?
I agree, but I feel like there isn't much of a wheel left. There is some very broken homes supporting this really shaky wheel. Like, who is aligned with anybody? Like, who's on the Lannister side anymore?
I think, it's up for interpretation. I feel like Cersei's really alone right now. And I feel like Daenerys knows that. And I think what she's planning to do is she needs followers. So I think King's Landing is the last place she wants to go. Mm-hmm. I think she wants to do a clean sweep.
You mean last place she wants to go on her list of places, not like she wants to stay far away.
Yeah, she wants to make a clean sweep. She wants to go all through Westeros, gaining allies and people who detest her. She wants to break them down. And she wants to be able to go to King's Landing and sit on the throne without any contesters.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good plan. So I think her first move when she's in Sunspear is, I think Tyrion is going to have an idea, and he's going to want to send Theon with a small fleet of ships to Winterfell. Because I think their plan is to move west and go up and kind of gain allies through all those regions. And then they're going to rely on Theon and his history with the Starks, even though there's been some drama there, and that'll be interesting. But he's going to try and use Theon as a chess piece to try and get the Starks on Daenerys' side.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Tyrion will be the one to do that, but I think Tyrion is the hand of the queen. I think he always stays by her side. Do you have anything to add to that? Do you think Tyrion is going to stay with Daenerys, or would he go to Winterfell, or what do you think his role is?
I think we'll definitely see some separation later. I don't think this season, no. He's too good of a tool for her to just send away. You know what I mean? He's proven himself in battle time and time again, it seems like, and just such a strategic thinker, especially when it comes to war, that I don't think it would be a weird play for her to send him away.
Exactly. She would never send Tyrion away, and that's why it's so perfect with Theon. They make it so clear, like, he's useless.
Yeah.
He didn't learn how to use the fleet.
Useless.
He was born at the Starks. He just learned how to be kind of a glorified squire. So if he can't command ships, then he's no value. They have Yara. Yeah. He's no value to them. So they're just going to use him to get with the Starks. And I think that totally makes sense. And I think Daenerys' next move is to move up to Highgarden. Again, makes sense. She's now allies with Lady Olenna.
Yeah.
And I wonder what state the Reach is going to be in. So now you have Loras Tyrell's dead. Mace Tyrell's dead. They have no leader of the Reach. They have nobody sitting on the throne of Highgarden.
No.
So how do you think they'll solve that problem? Do you think people are going to resent Lady Olenna kind of being in a leadership role? Or do you think they're going to kind of flock to a new leader? Or how do you think that'll work out?
No, Olenna's got her hand in everyone's pocket. She's very smart. She's very, formidable. She's very formidable.
Do you think she'll look for somebody to sit in the place of Highgarden?
No. She knows this is the end, so she wants to. She's out for blood.
Okay.
Whether it turns out for her, basically, this is her last play before she dies. I know she's gonna die. I don't know how she'll die. Like, do you think she'll die horrifically?
I honestly think it'll just be old age, because she's not going to be in the action. I feel like she's going to call all of her bannermen to support Daenerys. That includes Hornhill, which is the Tarly house, Tarly clan, and Randall Tarly, which is great because that'll distract Randall Tarly from pursuing Sam for taking his sword.
Yeah.
So I think after all that, I think they're going to head over to Casterly Rock, which is where conflict kind of starts. But before we go there, I just want to talk about the Citadel. So Sam is now in Old Town. He's very close to Highgarden. He's just a little south of it. And we did talk about Jim Broadbent being cast. We're both convinced he's going to be kind of a teacher, a mentor.
Yeah, big time.
So I think he's going to be an archmaester for Sam.
Yeah.
He's going to educate Sam.
Or be like someone, like a mentor there.
Exactly.
It could even be like a cheerleader there. Maybe it's someone that sort of sees what he's doing, respects what he's doing, or maybe guides him on a different path other than what is being taught there. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and I find it interesting because I think Sam's path is going to be very different from every maester. I think the first thing he learns is he goes straight into the higher mysteries. That's pretty much code for magic. That's what they call it when you learn the higher mysteries.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing he goes to learn about White Walkers to help Jon. And I think during his journey there, I think he's going to discover that the maesters hate magic. They're more set in science, right?
Yeah, like they've never been able to master it in such a way because they'll have very little experience outside of books.
Exactly, you can't study
scrolls, whereas he has actual hands-on experience with this stuff. And maybe a few magic items amongst him.
Yeah, and maesters naturally want to eliminate magic because it kind of contradicts their beliefs.
Yeah.
Their belief system. And I think that's really ironic because in season 1, the first thing Sam said is he really wanted to be a wizard.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting how he serves people who detest magic. It kind of contradicts on who he wanted to be.
Exactly.
So I think that's going to have a play later in the season because I think Jorah is going to arrive with Grayscale. We talked about this way early.
Yeah.
I just don't know what his true role is going to be because you're going to have Sam, you're going to have Jorah, and I think what's great about that is they're one knows Jon and one knows Daenerys, and they can communicate and then maybe somehow communicate a message forward.
Yeah, it seems interesting that dynamic.
Yeah, because Sam is in a different boat than the rest of the Citadel. I'm pretty sure the rest of the Citadel is going to be against Daenerys because she's kind of pro-magic in a sense with her dragons, and taking over a kingdom with magic isn't really considered honorable. But Sam has a totally different vision because he was taught by Master Aemon, who himself was Targaryen. And he praised Daenerys and he loved her. And even Sam said in one of the seasons, I think season 4, he said she sounds like a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
And I think Sam and Jorah are going to connect on, they should be supporting Daenerys. And Sam will say Jon is the perfect candidate to ally with, but there's White Walkers and her dragons would be perfect. And he will come to the conclusion that dragons really are the thing that will solve the issue of the White Walkers.
Yeah, it would definitely be a major component.
Like, that's really it, right? You kill White Walkers by anything dragon, whether it's Dragonstone, whether it's Wildfire, Dragonfire, anything dragon related, I believe could kill a White Walker, and I think Sam will realize that.
I'm on that kick too, but it seems so easy for everything that we've seen before.
No, I agree.
There's something going to be there to balance the scales.
Yeah, like on the White Walker side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I would find it interesting at the end of this season. It may be a little bit of fast track, but I find it interesting if I always felt like Sam would leave the Citadel.
I think he's going to have to.
And you think that too. But I think he'll never become a full maester. I think at the end of the season, Sam will only learn about magic.
He'll basically be
the higher mysteries.
A wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
So he'll learn about sort of like an outcast.
Yeah, so he'll have one link, the higher mysteries. And what's so weird is that the link for the higher mysteries is Valyrian steel.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it would be so interesting and it would be so profound if Sam burned down his dad's sword, made a couple swords out of it, but then made himself a link.
I like that. I think he's earning that though. He'll earn that, but something will happen that he gets kicked out.
Okay. Yeah,
that sword's too important.
It would be so interesting if the ancestral sword that was in his family for 500 years he's a different sword. He's like, no, I want it to represent intelligence. I want this thing of history in my family to represent this.
Mm-hmm.
And he changes it to fit who he is. But he is the head of the Tarly house, but now he holds it in a different way. He holds it on a chain representing his knowledge rather than his power.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, but I really do believe that sword is going to play a major role. All the swords are going to come together in the end, whether they're with the people they are with now, or whether they pass on like they have been.
And I think he's going to have his chain, his Valyrian steel chain, and he will be kind of a wizard in a sense because he's only mastered the higher mysteries. And I think by the end of it, he's going to leave the Citadel with Jorah and Gilly and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
For an unknown reason, I'm confident that he has to leave. And I think he has knowledge probably about the dragons, and I think there may be an event which forces them to leave. Not directly on the Citadel, but I think it would be an event outside. Maybe at Winterfell, maybe at King's Landing. A huge cataclysmic event which makes them kind of say, holy shit, we really got to run now.
What about the wall falling? The wall falling, it would seem like it would shake Sam enough to leave his post. Because what would he be the maester of if the wall fell with Castle Black?
No, exactly. I think there is going to be one event that makes him leave, but I'm confident he's not going to learn everything. I think he's going to learn just the magic arts, which makes him kind of like a wizard.
Yeah, like he's obviously a major player, right? And I was sort of talking to you earlier today about, like, why was he spared by that White Walker? Do you think it was for dramatic effect, or do you think there's something in him that is yet to be revealed?
I think that's an interesting idea, but I can't really pinpoint right now why a White Walker would leave him. I honestly have no idea. Maybe he didn't think he was a threat. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, because they tend to bulldoze down everything.
Exactly. But anyway, oh yeah, so it could be like a brand figure.
Yeah, like it wouldn't have been a good idea to mess with Sam.
Yeah, I get it. But let's go over to King's Landing. Just give a little quick update on what Cersei's doing at this moment when Daenerys is going from Highgarden to Casterly Rock.
Yeah.
So let me know if my logic is really out of place here, because it may be. But I feel like Cersei's going to realize that she has no allies in the south, and she's going to think that Daenerys is marching her way. She doesn't know that Daenerys is going to be doing the round circle of like every place except for King's Landing. So the Martells and the Tyrells hate her. So she has literally no allies in the south. So she has to start looking to the north.
Who does she have?
That's where I'm getting to. So I think her first thing is spreading propaganda. You know, we've seen it in season 6. All the plays. It's literally Lannister propaganda. And it's giving Tyrion a bad name. And I feel like it's further going to spread and give Daenerys a bad name because she's associating herself with the dirty imp who murdered the king. On top of the propaganda she's been spreading, I think she's going to ally with Euron Greyjoy. I think he's going to realize that Daenerys now has a firm alliance with Yara and Theon, and he's going to try and secure a spot with Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't know how far that will go. I don't know what role Euron will play. Before, I thought he would just be burned by all of Daenerys' ships or dragons, but I think he may play a more significant role. Otherwise, why set him up?
He's the only one I can see aligning with her, other than the we'll soon get to it person.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, Cersei's angry. Usually, she makes her decisions using her heart, not her brain. And she is very angry at Sansa because, in her mind, Sansa murdered Joffrey.
Yeah. And
her brother Tyrion. So, I think what she's going to be doing is I think she's going to be communicating with Littlefinger.
100%. I think we even talked about this on our sign-off episode from season 6.
We did.
It's Littlefinger. Like
exactly.
It was so like in his face.
Yeah, and you got to look at his motivations. Like Littlefinger, ever since the beginning, obviously he wants more and more control. He talks to Cersei, I believe it's season 4 or 5, and they were talking about Stannis Baratheon moving in on Winterfell to take it over from the Boltons. And Littlefinger said that he would take it over from the winning party. Whoever won, Littlefinger would swoop in with the Eyrie if Cersei pronounced him Warden of the North.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a deal that was left on the table. And Littlefinger hasn't soured his relationship with Cersei by any means.
No, he did exactly what he said he would do. Now, the Warden of the North doesn't seem up for grabs for him now because of the way it was taken.
Exactly. So he was 100% with the Starks.
Yeah.
But now Sansa called him on his bullshit and tossed him aside. And now you have a bastard sitting on the throne. I don't know if Littlefinger knows about Jon Snow's heritage.
No.
No? You don't think so?
He would be too diabolic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be too much for him to know that. I think is the last, like, holy fuck, like, I didn't see that coming moment for him.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you're going to have some communication there, but I think it'll be subtle, but I think they're going to wait for like a season 6 or episode 6 moment, like almost a finale moment where boom, Littlefinger betrays the Starks.
Yeah, of course.
And I think while this is happening, I think Cersei's also going to talk to Jaime. And Jaime's going to continue to lead the Lannister forces like he did in season 6.
Yeah, he almost seems like he's got no choice. But I feel like Jaime's going to make quite the transition over this next season.
No, huge. And I think it's going to be like night and day. And I think he's going to start off kind of bad. I think he's going to be angry at Cersei, but he's going to listen to her for a bit. I think you're going to have him lead the Lannister forces. She's going to want him to go to Riverrun and secure the Twins.
Yeah.
Twins is the most important thing because it's the gateway to the north. And I think she's going to order him to kill Lord Edmure because they're going to secure Riverrun for themselves.
Yeah, that they have to.
And I find that interesting because all of this lead up where Jaime promised he'd be free and he swears on his honor, but then just like a month later, he has to kill him. So it's Jaime constantly questioning his honor, and then that will play into how he feels about Cersei going forward.
Well, she'll constantly have to make him go back on his honor because of the orders that are given to him now. That is, she's like official queen. Like really, exactly. I'm looking at the map. I always have the map open. They got nothing. If King's Landing, like if I was a general in King's Landing, and I didn't have if I had the Vale, they would need to swoop in on the Twins, figure out Riverrun, and then come back for a defensive from Highgarden and the Dorne area.
And maybe they have some men in Storm's End, but I feel like they won't even introduce it because every heir to Storm's End is dead. All the Baratheons are dead. So I don't know what they're doing with Storm's End. I think it's just going to be a left plot of land. Yeah, it's not even going to be used, and it's going to be given out at the end of season 8.
No, and like Cersei, even with this fleet, can't roll up into Blackwater Bay. Like, we know what happened there, and even Tyrion would say that. So it's got to be a land battle.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what she plans to do is once she takes over Riverrun or once she takes over the Twins, I think she's going to want to start... This might get a little ridiculous, but I think she's going to want to pursue Winterfell. And let me know if this is stupid, but I think she doesn't want to hold Casterly Rock, which is very weird. Usually you want to defend your home. But I think she'll realize how cataclysmic this whole situation is with dragons. She doesn't want to roast her homeland.
Yeah. So
pretty much in her situation, the fight is where the army is. Because they're going to want to eliminate the army to be able to take the throne. And Cersei's like, well, hey, you can take all the men because I got all the wildfire in the world, baby. Like, maybe she takes half the forces and leaves them with her and then sends the other half of the Lannister force to Winterfell.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think they'll do this is because you have some of the Vale there. Some of the Vale soldiers. So it's kind of like reuniting the armies. And they want to take out the Starks. Because it's pretty common knowledge, I think Cersei would think that the North is ripe for the taking for being an ally with Daenerys. So if you cut the head off the snake, kill the North, then Daenerys is one less short of an ally. And you reunite with the Eyrie.
Yeah. But I feel like you could do that at the Twins. Because the North has no fleet. It seems like it doesn't look like they have ships. If you blow off if you heavily guard the Twins, there's no way of the North coming south.
Well, I was thinking that too, but Jon Snow would never leave the Winterfell walls. It would be a siege. Jon would be smart and stay held up in Winterfell. He would never come forward So the Lannisters would be forced to go to the walls of Winterfell. And then Daenerys, I think, during this time would be at Casterly Rock. They clear out Casterly Rock, not many soldiers there. They pursue River Run, take out River Run, and then they pursue the twins and fight the twins. But by the time that's happening, I think there's going to be a war between the Lannister and the Starks, and then Littlefinger all of a sudden snap, the Eyrie's going to betray the Starks. And I think Daenerys is going to be like, holy fuck, and get on her dragons and fly there.
Yeah. It's a tough sell for me, but something to that effect. Like I don't know. I see them. You said Storm's End's over. I almost see the fleet landing in Storm's End, taking Storm's End, and not being their stronghold from Daenerys' point of view, where they can sort of launch attacks from all around, whether using the fleet or by using the ground force. So it's sort of like the middle of everywhere outside of the north.
Yeah, I think Daenerys would take Storm's End. I'm pretty sure, yeah. It would be like Dorne. She'd take Storm's End. She'd take Highgarden. She'd take Casterly Rock. She'd take the twins.
That's where I think the north meets Daenerys, is the twins.
But why would they come to the twins?
Because they're gonna be pushing south.
Yeah.
Right?
But would they leave Winterfell behind?
Yeah, I think they're gonna split up. Reason being is that, like, I don't think Jon's gonna just settle into Winterfell. It doesn't seem like he wants to. It just seems like he's being told to. And he's gonna need to maybe Edmure calls him and he needs to go to River Run to save it, putting him through the twins, and then the Vale will be at his back. With King's Landing's army in the Reach, like sort of surrounding in a pincer move. But he'll think that the Vale is safe with him. So it's going to be like, I don't know, man. There's so many strategic things they could do. Because look at where River Run is. I don't know if you have a map.
Yeah.
Edmure we know is there. Edmure has a pretty dope castle that can hold people outside, right? If they trick the North to coming to help River Run, whether it's a legitimate siege of River Run again, they have Pike to the northwest, they have the Vale to the northeast, and they have all of King's Landing to the south and the Reach. So if I wanted to get the king in the north, I would want him to come to River Run.
Here's the thing. I approach it as Jon would never leave Winterfell. He's like, the war is not between the people. It's between the dead and the living. So I'm staying up here. You can come and get me if you want. He's so far away, I don't think anyone would ever contest him. And he's just sitting up in the north trying to survive the winter. That's why I think they're going to come to him. And that's why I think Daenerys is going to have to stop the war between the Lannisters and the Starks, kill the Lannisters, and maybe send Jaime as kind of like a trading party, like tell him to go confess, or not confess, sorry, tell him to go to Cersei and encourages them to surrender.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
It's the only way how I could link it, because if Jaime goes to tell Cersei like to surrender, she'll refuse,
of course,
and want to burn it down, which will cause Jaime to kill her to save King's Landing.
Yeah, PTSD style from the first time he's done that.
Exactly, which will result in the whole city burning down anyway.
And the Greek tragedy ending that those two have coming since day one.
Exactly, and it's something King's Landing has to burn down season 6, because season 7, it's the death of politics and the birth of the dead and magic.
Yeah.
So no matter what, I feel like that happens. That no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to quickly talk about Winterfell. Like, I don't know what kind of season this is going to be for Jon and Sansa. Maybe more political in the sense that Sansa plays Peter Baelish, or maybe Peter Baelish plays Sansa a bit. There's a little jealousy between them. Jon's preparing for the White Walkers and just kind of being a leader.
I don't know, though. I really don't know that they're worried about the White Walkers like we think. I always thought they were, but they're really stuck. Like, they're really hung up on that wall. That wall is like everything to them. You know what I mean? Like, I think they really think they're safe south of the wall. They don't care about anything that's going on unless it's south of the wall. It's like, oh, we made it out of there. But once the wall comes down is the true end of politics, and on with the good versus evil shit.
Yeah, and by like, you know, something that Sansa and Jon may disagree on, for example, say if Theon does show up and he wants to negotiate terms with align with Daenerys, right? What's more honorable? Jon, I think, would want to execute Theon just because, you know, you are a good person now, but you did commit a terrible crime. Whereas Sansa would be like, nobody's changed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, of course.
So I feel like there would be like another argument between Jon and Sansa and like their leadership styles.
Yeah.
Whereas Jon, with like his dad, without question, like he broke the law, and he has to pay for it.
Yeah, but I think he'll pay for it in a different way. He'll pay with it with information or an alliance, like we think. That's why I'm so fed up with Theon, because I feel like that's the only thing he's good for right now. Is because he saved Sansa card. When really, like, that was the least he could do for everything he fucked up in the first place.
Yeah, and that's the thing with all these, like, politics and predictions. Like, from this time, we don't know. So, like, that's so
far
funny.
Out,
my
man.
prediction
it's such a blurry
is...
vision.
Yeah, my prediction is literally just, like, I tried to think battle strategy and, like, how I think I would do it. But, like, it could be literally totally different. What if Cersei, instead of sending her men to Winterfell, which I don't even know if will happen, what if she decides to just hold King's Landing?
I was thinking the same thing. Like, if she's just like, okay, I'm just barricading myself in.
Exactly.
I'm the queen. I can command everyone to do what I need to do outside of my walls anyway, so I'm just going to put up the gate.
Exactly. So I was just trying to pick up the puzzle pieces and involve all these different characters. Involve the North. Involve the Eyrie, because it's been set up that Peter Baelish is a little bit finicky, so I think a betrayal is in line there. I think, it's just trying to string 100%. All these ideas.
There's no way they would cut to him the way that they did. Like, there's no way he's not betraying.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the end of him. Do you get what I mean? Like, this is his last shot at the plate here.
Exactly, and it would be almost worse for Peter Baelish instead of dying. It would almost be worse for him just to lose everything. And just literally be nothing again.
Yeah.
But, so this whole thing ends with King's Landing burning. But then I want to talk about the most important thing. North of the Wall. So the White Walker involvement, I think we both agree, it's going to be maybe like season 6. Maybe show a little bit of culture if they have any. It's the debate whether they're like just weapons or they're cultured creatures.
Yeah, there was something up though, because literally in the shower thinking about this.
Oh.
Yeah, I do a lot of thinking in the shower. So, if you recall, when totally correct me if I'm wrong, but when Bran showed up to the Weirwood tree for the first time, and we saw like the weird different children of the forest save them, remember? And what's his name died. Right? He gets stabbed up. Yeah, Jojen. They were using... those were booby traps, right?
In what sense?
They were booby traps of the Weirwood, right?
Yeah.
That killed them. They're using the same magic. Like, they used the dead as an army.
Explosive magic, yeah.
No, they use the dead as an army or as a tool.
Yeah.
So, like, we think they're all bad... because that's how they've been sort of edited to look. But, like, the children used dead people, too. And they even made the White Walkers.
Well, they made the White Walkers to fight against the humans, so it could be argued that their purpose literally is just to kill humans. But they do seem more cultured than that. We see that with the symbols that they leave in the ground, with the spiral symbols and all that kind of stuff. So I think...
like, the ceremonial thing that they do to babies to convert them to, like... I don't know if that's what turns into like the real White Walkers as opposed to the whites.
I think that's what it is, and I think, that definitely is culture. It was a human that turned into this White Walker, so I'm sure that there's culture there, and I think Bran is going to be exploring that.
Yeah, he's going to need to figure out what the hell's going on. Exactly,
and I think he's going to be learning about Jon's father. He's going to be learning about Rhaegar a lot, because they definitely blurred out Lyanna Stark kind of saying his Targaryen name.
Midnight.
So they're going to kind of introduce that by showing the tourney of Harrenhal, all these different Rhaegar visions.
Yeah, agree 100% with that.
And I think on top of that, you're going to be seeing a lot of White Walkers. Maybe Bran can, kind of eavesdrop in like he did before, but kind of protect himself in a sense.
Yeah, like playing it smart a little bit.
Well, I think by the end, I think this might be the main like event after King's Landing. I think Bran is going to maybe get like a vision, and it's going to be White Walkers approaching him. So I think he's going to sprint to the wall, ride to the wall.
Yeah.
And then, the magical barrier, his enchantment or whatever that's on his arm will break the magical barrier to allow the White Walkers in. But I'm just wondering if magic holds up the wall itself, or if magic just keeps the White Walkers out. Because if he walks through it, it could just crumble, which would be amazing. And then he'd just hold up in Castle Black, and you'd have a season ending with no White Walkers, but an open wall.
Yeah, I really think that. I was hoping it for this season, but I still, that's the shot. The whole fucking wall coming down. I really think it's like Bran and whoever he's with at that point, they're like, we kind of put like a big gap between us, and they kind of look back at the wall, and it's like coming down. I really think here's what I was just thinking. Littlefinger is gonna ask for Winterfell's hand in helping them fight Cersei. That's the trade-off, and they're gonna come south, right? And that's what's gonna happen, and he's gonna turn on them, giving them the shit as Daenerys comes up from the south.
Right.
And it will be unforeseen by Littlefinger. It will be unforeseen by Cersei, who will then lock herself in her castle, and that's it. She'll be held up. It will be pointless to try and fight. She'll never surrender, and she blows that popsicle stand literally, only to have Jaime literally stab her or choke her, whatever the prophecy says.
And then it seems like the King's Landing explosion is episode 6, and then episode 7 is the wall coming down, kind of opening for the next season.
Like, who do you think's making it through this season?
I don't even know. Like, we didn't touch on so many characters, like Arya, like the Hound, like the Brotherhood, like just so many characters, because this is just our broad predictions of the overall like story. But honestly, I couldn't tell you. But we are going to be touching on very specific character predictions as we keep going throughout the months. But I think that's all I have to say about my initial thoughts and predictions of season 7 based off nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bookmark it here too, because I could go on a wild tangent with just trying to talk up shit. My God.
I know. So we left out so many characters. A shame. We left out Arya, the Hound, all these characters I love. But don't worry, we're gonna be talking about them later. This was a broad strokes. They're gonna fall into place into this story. Maybe you'll see Arya and the Bannermen with Lannister men by Riverrun having to solve some issues there. Maybe you'll see them in between a fight somewhere. So it's really interesting to see what happens. Yeah. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I guess we'll see you later, guys.
See you on the next one, guys.